Have you ever wondered why the most powerful moments in life often come cloaked in silence? In a world saturated with endless chatter, where every opinion clamors for attention and every voice vies to be the loudest, there lies a hidden truth. True power is not forged in the storm of words, but in the calm of quiet restraint. This is not a new revelation, it echoes through the ages, distilled in the wisdom of Machiavelli, the Renaissance mastermind whose insights into human nature and strategy still resonate today. His teachings, particularly in The Prince and his reflections on war and governance, reveal a timeless principle. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is a deliberate, potent weapon. As we dive into this exploration, we'll uncover how silence shapes power, influences perception, and offers a strategic edge in a noisy world. Prepare to rethink everything you thought you knew about strength and influence. The power of silence in a noisy world. Imagine a room filled with voices, each vying to dominate the conversation. Politicians debate on live television. Social media influencers flood feeds with opinions. And casual conversations overflow with explanations and justifications. In this cacophony, the individual who chooses to remain silent stands out not as weak, but as commanding. Machiavelli understood this dynamic centuries ago. He observed that power is not always seized through force, grand speeches, or dramatic gestures. Instead, it is built in the quiet spaces, those pauses that unsettle, those silences that reveal more than words ever could. Today, we live in an era of oversharing. Social media platforms encourage constant updates. 24-hour news cycles demand immediate reactions. And the pressure to speak first often overshadows the wisdom of holding back. Yet, amidst this chaos, those who master silence hold an undeniable advantage. Their reticence creates a void that others rush to fill, often exposing their own weaknesses in the process. This is the essence of Machiavelli's strategy. The most dangerous person in the room is not the one shouting, but the one listening intently, absorbing every detail while revealing nothing. Consider the historical figures who wielded silence as a tool of dominance. Julius Caesar, before crossing the Rubicon, kept his intentions shrouded in mystery, leaving Rome in a state of anxious speculation. When he finally acted, his enemies were caught off guard, their preparations misaligned. Napoleon Bonaparte, in negotiations, often let his opponents speak first, coaxing them into revealing their strategies before he unveiled his own. Vladimir Lenin, during the Russian Revolution, remained silent for months, allowing his adversaries to exhaust themselves in debates, only to strike with decisive words that reshaped history. These examples illustrate a universal truth. Silence is not an action. It is a calculated strategy that forces others to expose their vulnerabilities. The strategic advantage of restraint. Machiavelli's writings, particularly in The Prince, emphasize the art of restraint. He advised rulers to speak only when necessary, to master the delicate balance of revealing nothing while learning everything. This approach transforms silence into a mere other's project, their assumptions, fears, and miscalculations onto the silent figure, who then uses this information to his advantage. The moment you speak too much, Machiavelli warned, you hand over your power. Every word becomes a weapon that others can turn against you, making you predictable and manipulable. Why then do so many people succumb to the urge to talk? The answer lies in human nature's discomfort with the void. Silence unnerves us, it invites speculation, forces introspection, and challenges our need to be understood. People speak to fill this emptiness, to justify their actions, or to alleviate their insecurities. But in doing so, they surrender control. The politician who overexplains to appease everyone ends up pleasing no one. The negotiator who reveals his bottom line too soon loses his leverage. The social climber who shares too much exposes his ambitions to exploitation. Machiavelli saw this as a fatal flaw. Those who cannot bear silence give away their power before they even realize it. In contrast, the silent strategist thrives. By tolerating the discomfort of quiet, they remain calm, unshaken, and unreadable. This ability to withstand the pressure to speak is what sets them apart. It's a skill that requires patience, self-discipline, and an acute awareness of timing. Silence, in this sense, becomes a form of timing a waiting game, where the perfect moment to act or speak ensures victory. Silence, as a weapon in strategy, and survival. Machiavelli's philosophy extends beyond politics into the realms of warfare, negotiation, and daily survival. In The Art of War, he argued that the most effective military strategies are those concealed from the enemy until the moment of execution. This principle applies equally to speech. Words deployed too early are like armies sent into battle prematurely, exposing intentions before the time is right. A general who keeps his plans hidden forces his enemy to guess, over-prepare, and hesitate. Similarly, a leader who remains silent compels rivals to speculate, leading them to make mistakes based on faulty assumptions. In everyday life, this tactic is just as powerful. The person who reveals little about themselves maintains an advantage over those who speak without caution. Imagine a job interview where one candidate answers every question with lengthy, detailed responses, while another offers concise, thoughtful answers with strategic pauses. The latter is perceived as more confident and in control, leaving a lasting impression. This is the psychological edge of silence. It shapes how others perceive you, often attributing depth and intelligence to your restraint. Machiavelli's insights also highlight the pitfalls of overcommunication. When you speak without caution, you reveal your insecurities through nervous chatter, expose your emotions through unguarded words, or make commitments you cannot retract. These moments of vulnerability can be exploited by those paying close attention. True power, Machiavelli believed, lies in the asymmetry of information. The one who knows more than they reveal always holds the upper hand. A leader who is too open or transparent loses the mystique that commands respect, allowing enemies to plan and counterattack effectively. The psychological power of silence. Human nature has remained consistent since Machiavelli's time. We are drawn to mystery and unsettled by what we cannot understand. Silence creates an aura of authority, prompting others to assume depth and intelligence in those who do not speak frivolously. When someone remains quiet in a discussion, people begin to fill the void with their own assumptions. He must know something we don't. She must be confident if she doesn't feel the need to prove herself. What is he thinking? This psychological mechanism grants the silent strategist immediate power even before they utter a word. In the modern world, the temptation to speak constantly is overwhelming. Social media encourages oversharing. News cycles demand instant commentary, and the urge to validate our existence through words is ever present. Yet this constant noise dilutes impact. Machiavelli's wisdom reminds us that silence is not weakness. It is a tool for wielding power. By controlling what others learn about you and your intentions, you keep them off balance. Certainty leads to hesitation, fear, and mistakes, conditions that favor the silent observer. The pitfalls of overcommunication. The dangers of speaking too much are manifold. When you reveal your true thoughts, you become predictable, giving others the tools to manipulate you. Nervous chatter exposes insecurities, unguarded words betray emotions, and impulsive commitments create liabilities. Machiavelli observed that a ruler who speaks excessively loses the mystique that inspires respect. Once their secrets and strategies are exposed, enemies can plan and counterattack with precision. The ability to withhold information and speak strategically ensures that you remain a step ahead. Consider the examples around us. A politician who over-explains to win approval often alienates voters. A negotiator who talks too much reveals his limits, undermining his position. A friend who shares too soon gives others leverage to exploit. These individuals lose control of the narrative, allowing others to shape perceptions and outcomes. In contrast, the silent figure retains mastery over their story, using restraint to inspire both fear and admiration. When silence becomes strength, silence, however, is not a call for complete muteness. Machiavelli never advocated for a total absence of speech. Instead, he taught that the true master of power knows when to speak and when to remain silent. There are moments when carefully chosen, perfectly timed words can have maximum impact, delivering a decisive blow or sealing a deal. Equally, there are moments when silence speaks louder than any declaration, conveying thoughtfulness, caution, and control. A leader who speaks sparingly is seen as one who measures their words with precision. Their silence can mislead opponents, inspire followers, or create the illusion of openness. While revealing nothing substantial, contrast. The fool speaks out of compulsion, driven by discomfort and an inability to tolerate the void. This impulsive chatter erodes their authority, placing them at a disadvantage. Machiavelli's lesson is clear. Silence, when wielded with intent, becomes a source of strength, breaking the cycle of noise. To harness the power of silence, one must first confront the urge to fill every moment with sound. This requires self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. It means resisting the cultural pressure to overshare and recognizing that every word carries weight. At MindSnap, we encourage you to reflect on your own habits. Do you speak to fill silence, or do you use it strategically? Are you revealing more than necessary, or are you holding space for others to expose themselves? The journey to mastering silence begins with small steps. Practice pausing before responding in conversations. Observe how others react when you withhold judgment or explanation. Notice the power that comes from letting others fill the void with their assumptions. Over time, this practice builds a reservoir of control and influence that words alone cannot achieve. A call to action. As we conclude this exploration of Machiavelli's timeless wisdom, ask yourself, how can you use silence to shape your world? The noise around us will not quiet itself, but you have the power to rise above it. Join us at MindSnap as we continue to uncover the strategies that transform lives. Subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's embark on this journey together, because the strongest voices are often the ones we never hear.